After the destruction of bridges in the Kursk region, the Ukrainian armed forces opened a hunt for pontoons installed by the Russian armed forces. They, unlike permanent bridges, can be destroyed by Himars strikes. Besides, the troops at the pontoons are an easy target for cluster munitions. So, as we see it, either the Russian command will figure out how to get the soldiers out of the cutoff area in the Glushkovsky district, or such stories will be repeated with the same result. As Warthog Defense reported, according to estimates, around 3,000 Russian soldiers are now stuck behind Same River. Satellite images of the bridge near the village of Karij in the Kursk region, where the Ukrainian armed forces are attempting to cut off the Russian troops south of the Same River from their logistics. 2 other bridges in this area have been destroyed. The Russian media outlet Meduza reported that the Kremlin has begun discussing the announcement of a new wave of mobilization due to the advance of Ukrainian armed forces in the Kursk region. However, the Russian government and state-affiliated businessmen are opposed to mobilization, as it would deplete the economy of its remaining labor resources. Ukrainian defenders from the 22nd Separate Mechanized Brigade have taken a new group of Russians into captivity. Judging by the chevrons, soldiers from Akhmat unit are also among the captured. Good work. Russian military correspondent Roman Sapunkov notes the high efficiency of Himars systems in the Kursk region, as well as the complete dominance of Ukrainian unmanned systems isolating the battlefield after the destruction of Russian air defense systems. He also calls for abandoning meat assaults, but this, as you know, is of no interest to anyone. In the Glushkovsky district, the enemy is isolating the combat area. Following the destruction of the bridges, they began to hit the pontoons. Obviously, the main reason is complete control of the sky. The enemy quite effectively organized attacks on our air defense systems, as a result of which winged drones are now constantly hovering over the area, identifying pontoon crossings. At the same time, the enemy attacks in the direction of Malaya Lokhnya. In general, for the future, if we want to prevent new incursions into our territory, among other activities, it is necessary to organize groups of hunters for Himars, who will have at their disposal all the necessary means, from intelligence data on the ground to online video footage from winged drones, and also assigning Iskander's duty crew to them. And this hunt must be carried out continuously. 2 years have passed since the mass use of Himars, and a mass hunt for them has not yet been launched, despite the fact that this is the second most effective means of isolating a combat area after FPV drones. The second, because there are many times more drones, the most important ones are allocated for Himars goals. We must also stop grinding down assault troops against unnecessary villages on the map, and move on to forming a harmonious fighting fist. The invasion of the Kursk region showed that only battle-hardened units can fight. The rest are actually incapable of combat. The idea of erasing assaults and recruiting again practically from scratch turns into big problems in places where the enemy was able to beat us tactically, depriving us of a numerical advantage. Ukrainian soldiers from the 112th Territorial Defense Brigade destroyed a tank that the Russians intended to use to break through Ukrainian positions. Ukrainian soldier shares his water with the dogs abandoned in Russian villages in Kursk region.
Віддає свою воду тваринам, яких залишили наші вороги.
Parents of Russian conscripts continue to demand that the Russian Ministry of Defense return their sons who were captured in the Kursk region.
Ми Безносикова Татьяна Григорьевна и Копылов Александр Геннадьевич. Родители Копылова Вадима Александровича, 2002 года рождения. Наш сын попал в плен во время боев в Курской области в районе города Суджи. Служит в воинской части 12721, рядовой, стрелок 2-й роты 17-го батальона 488-й мотострелковой дивизии. Просим российскую сторону подать список на обмен нашего сына, ну и других срочников, находящихся в плену.
Верните сына домой.
For the purpose of destroying the whole continent, it would be good to have a not 10 megaton, but 1,000 megaton bomb so that the Earth's axis would shift. Russian propagandists laugh. They also discuss how many warheads are necessary to destroy Great Britain.
То, что у России есть ядерное оружие, об этом сказал президент. Цифра 2000 ядерных боезарядов, которые у нас находятся, правда, на складском хранении, но тем не менее боеготовы, это тоже не секрет. Не понял.
Для Британии хватит.
Для Британии хватит.
Для Британии, да нет, хватит, вы знаете...
И 4.
Всё хватит, да, особенно.
Вот для того, чтобы было понятно, что когда говорят вот сокращать, то сокращать, это сокращать, каждый боезаряд – это цель. Любой, стратегический, не стратегический, это, так сказать, основа ядерного сдерживания. Поэтому, когда говорят, вот, там, упасть там, до 1000, ну хорошо, тогда это будет уже не неприемлемый ущерб, а приемлемый ущерб. А тогда, если упасть еще...
Можно сделать так, чтобы целью был континент? Просто чтобы возможности боевые были такие, что один континент минус.
А для этого хорошо бы, так сказать, такую бомбу, там, не 10 мегатонн, а так мегатонн 1000, вот так, чтобы уж так, чтобы ось земли сместилась.
Ukraine's Kursk offensive is a severe blow to Russian President Putin's narrative, writes the High Representative of the EU for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Josep Borrell. Lifting restrictions on the use of capabilities versus the Russian military involved in aggression against Ukraine, in accordance with international law, would have several important effects. Strengthen Ukrainian self-defense by ending Russia's sanctuary for its attacks and bombardments of Ukrainian cities and infrastructure. Save lives and reduce destruction in Ukraine. Help advance peace efforts. The EU fully supports Ukraine's fight against Russian aggression.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.